we're just starting our Waterloo game. We've got 2 rounds of pre-combat firing. Charlie has just rolled the first dice, and Charlie, you have rolled a double 6. He's done it again. Very first dice roll of the game. Charlie comes in with a double 6. Here we are at the end of turn 1. The Allies pretty much remained where they are. There's been some great artillery fire from Charlie. He's rolled another double 6, second of the game, causing this French brigade in the centre here to falter. So we'll have to cope with that next turn. The French on the left are manoeuvring their 2 brigades to potentially start assaulting La Haye-Saint, and we have, of course, a reasonable number of casualties, 3 now, against the La Haye-Saint garrison. We've got some French skirmishers in the village. Otherwise, the other 2 French divisions here have stayed behind the Grand Battery, but 2 more are moving out in the assault. Donzelais is moving towards La Haye and Papillote, and the 3rd Division is moving up in support of them. And finally, the French light cavalry has started to move towards the right, potentially to threaten those villages or see what they want to consider in terms of further redeployment. The Dutch Belgians continue to march to their new positions, but French artillery fire has driven one of those into flee off table, and one's gone unformed. So there we are at the end of turn 1. I think player of turn 1, who do we think's got it? I think 2 double 6s for the start of the game. He's holding that crown for the end of the first turn. All right, back with turn 2. Cheers, everyone. At the end of turn 2, the team are mercilessly taking the mick out of me doing videos. We've got some great commandering going on by Tony. He's basically just shuffling on the back line. I'm sure victory is going to happen at any moment. Over here, Kevin is being a little bit more aggressive, and we're moving up towards Papillote and La Haye-Saint. But his cavalry have decided that the best thing to do with cavalry is sit there and do nothing. So that's proving a bit of a challenge. Otherwise, the Allies are mainly dancing to the right or leaving the table. So we do have a bit of a success. The Dutch Belgians are taking a pounding from the artillery firing at turn 2, but otherwise most of the rest of the Allied position is unchanged. And to give Tony credit, we are chipping away pretty effectively against the garrison in La Haye-Saint, so making some progress there. All right, that's it for turn 2. Back in a bit. All right, here we go at the end of turn 3. Though the French assault is still rumbling ever so slowly forward. Kevin and his forces are moving through these fields, approaching Papillote, and the division to his flank has finally started moving forward. The Dutch Belgians have now reinforced the Nassau position, although there's still an attractive-looking trap, or is it gap, in the centre for the French to pile into. Otherwise, the rest of the Allied forces are unmoved, and the French are redeploying potentially to assault La Haye-Saint. We've still caused good casualties in that farm, and the Grand Battery has continued to eat away at the British lines. Let's see what happens as we move into turn 4. French commanders have just deemed that everything is going absolutely brilliantly, so let's see how that brilliance is playing out on the table. The 2 attack divisions of the French right wing are rolling forward well. They're approaching the villages now, and we've now got some of the Dutch Belgians under fire from our skirmisher screen, and our infantry assaults are at least a turn or 2 away, but getting there. In the centre, we're still holding one of our French divisions in reserve. This one is 8 battalions strong, but it's got some of our best troops in it. Over here, we now have positioned our other French division for assault of La Haye-Saint, and we have now got 6 casualties on the KGL Light Battalion in La Haye-Saint. In response to that, the British have started moving forward one of their KGL line battalions to potentially reinforce La Hissant. Otherwise, the Grand Battery continues popping away at those British behind the hedge line, causing 1 or 2 casualties. And the Dutch are still being focused on by the other end of the Grand Battery, trying to break those lines. But still no commitment of heavy cavalry yet, and the French light cavalry division has disappeared off the flank on the right, so we'll see where they reappear in due course under Chris's excellent guidance. All right, that's it for the end of turn 5. Is it turn 5, guys? We just finished, or turn 4? Just finished turn 4, and we'll just move on to turn 5. All right, guys, we're just doing the first hand-to-hand combat of the game. So we got our first French battalion assaulting La Hissant, defending by the King's German Legion. Charlie's rolling for the French, for the KGL. Let's see what you get, Charlie. You roll first. You need 4s or more. So you get 2, and for the French, we get 1. The KGL have repelled the first attack. The French will fall back. Okay, so the French were thrown back from their first assault on La Hissant, although the KGL are looking in a bit of trouble. But Charlie has moved up a KGL line battalion in reserve. Otherwise, there has been some success for the French. These divisions are really up against the Dutch-Belgians now, and the Dutch-Belgians did lose one of their artillery batteries to a combination of skirmish fire and some bad luck and a fatigue casualty on their own artillery assault. Otherwise, the French cavalry's moved off table, but their horse artillery is opening up at Papillote and the Nassau on the hill. And we'll carry on with turn 6. Right, looking at the right-hand side of the battle, unfortunately, me and Kevin, as the French commanders on this flank, made a slight tactical error and didn't spot that there was a Nassau unit hiding in this field, and they've charged our attacking French column in the flank. We tried to charge the Nassaus on the hill, came up short, and did a ragged volley against them. We've now got to do the morale result as we take this flank attack and see if we can throw this small company back. Hopefully we can. So we move across the table. We can see the French attack is getting pretty close to the table edge and making good progress. And victory is ultimately clearly ours. Let's see how this combat goes. Right, so unfortunately for the French, we've only rolled 1 hit, but I am confident Paul can roll 5 1s. So victory is still guaranteed. He's only got 2, so they've only won by 1. But in a melee and an open, it will drive the French off, I think, Paul.
Yes. So difference is 1. Infantry versus infantry. Winner takes the guard informed, losers retreat.
Okay, so you retreat and your supports, I think, retire and also go unformed. Right, so at the end of turn 7, let's see where we are. So French here have paused for a second. The KGL have rotated their light battalion out. They formed into skirmisher formation, and one of the KGL line have moved in. The French have destroyed the Allied artillery battery that was on the hill here through a combination of skirmisher and artillery fire. As we move across, as you saw at the end of last turn, one of the Dutch batteries there has gone, and the remaining Dutch battery here has now taken 6 or 7 casualties and is on the point of going. Unfortunately, the French attack on the right here failed and was counterattacked by the Nassau in the flank. So we've got a number of faltering units here. But the attack on the left is pushing forward and in a good position to push back against the Dutch-Belgians. Right, let's see what happens as we do the next one. Right, so glorious French attack going on here. So one of my brigades charging in against this Dutch militia. 3 brigades, 2 re-rolls, got my commander committed. Their militia, they've got 4 casualties. Should be a foregone conclusion. This man here rolled a double 6. Yes, a double 6 for his defensive volley. And then he rolled a double 6 for his destiny test. So I am now faltering. We'll see if I can get the charge in. 3 double 6s in a row. Something dodgy's got to be going on if that happens. All right, let's see how this charge result goes. All right, so doing the charge. Let's see how we do. Let's see what the French get. 5, that's not great.
Only 1 6.
Okay, I'm going to re-roll definitely the 2.
I can re-roll. Oh, that's even better. Oh, hold it. 8 against 5. It's 3 up.
So with 2 re-rolls, I still get a 5.
think it'll be combat.
You want to win by 6, is the best you can do.
So 8 against 5. That's +3, isn't it?
Yeah.
I can't do any better, can I?
You can.
Attacker takes. Where is it?
Looks like I'm not charging home.
Take.
All right, here we go. This is the end of day 1. A really warm day, but an absolutely brilliant day. So where we've got to. So the French have continued to nibble away at La Haison. We've driven one KGL battalion out, but unfortunately reinforcements have arrived. We did another assault this turn, but weren't able to break in. We've done a lot to get rid of the British artillery along the ridgeline. However, large numbers of British batteries are now arriving in reserve to replace them. And we've caused relatively modest casualties to the British line, although this turn we did, there's a gap here in the space that the Highlanders previously occupied, so they were driven off the table. They haven't been routed, they just have retreated off table, so we can expect them to come back. The British have plugged the gap in the centre as the Dutch moved along. We've got a Hanoverian brigade. They've taken a few casualties this turn, but nothing too much. The French attack on the right stalled a bit, as you saw earlier in the video. These 3 French battalions just got thrown back. But we did have some success down here. A great attack by Kevin's troops, and we've just broken this Nassau battalion. You can see in the distance there with the French column going in against it. They've routed and have fled off table, and also the small battalion of Nassau riflemen have been destroyed by this French battalion. So we've got a bit of a reforming and reshaping to do for this French assault, but it's certainly not all over on this flank. And of course, we've got the start of some heavy cavalry arriving now. Where are those British? We'll have to wait and see. But a great day 1, and I think it's still very much in the balance. See what happens day 2. Cheers, everyone.